What's the premise of Wings?
Cheers in an airport. For all the good that is and for all the bad that is. Yeah. We left, we told Glenn unless we were leaving Cheers, and they asked us if we could stay on for half a season, and the next season to sort of oversee the transition. So we did that, and then we left, I think, in January, '89 or something like that, and spent a year trying to come up with our first series. And looking back on Wings, I'm certainly proud of it, and more often than not, people will come up to me and say, "You know, the one I really like that you did was Wings," which always sort of surprises me because it was the tough one. It was the tough one. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to think of. It wasn't easy casting it. We can get into all that, but the thing I remember most about Wings is I look at it and it's really the work of guys who were timid to stray too far away from the model that they knew. So when I say it was Cheers in an airport, I'm totally copying to that, and it's because it's what we knew. So we thought, okay, what's our setting going to be? And we were casting about for some place where anybody could walk through the door, where there was one room where there could be a group of people that worked together, where someone was an antagonist, where people that have, different reasons to be in this one room together. And I think David Angel was the one who said something about a small airport. And, well, that's sort of interesting, but we explored that a little bit, and I can't remember the actual sequence of things, but that year, a friend of mine said, "Do you want to go spend Labor Day in Nantucket?" And I'm in LA, and I'm going, that's a long way to go for a 4-day weekend. But he said, "Oh, come on. I have a friend who has a house there. It's for free. We'll take the red eye on Friday night, and we'll go. And you can take an extra day off." And so we land in Boston, and then bleary-eyed, I'm led to this little plane that's going to fly me from the Boston airport to Nantucket. And I'm going, well, this is weird. I've never experienced anything like this. And we land in Nantucket, and it's this charming little airport. And the next day, I called Peter and David up, and I said, I think I found the place that we want to set this. So. I think at that time we'd already pitched and written quite a bit. We knew it was going to be everywhere, we just didn't know where. But as with so many things, those ideas sort of overlap when they happen. But I remember going to pitch the idea, though, to Brandon Tartikoff, and Brandon Tartikoff saying, "I don't know, a series in an airport, all I see is people's backs lined up at counters." And by this time we had done a lot of research on these small airports. He goes, no, here's how it is the way they are. There's a lunch counter, and there's usually a couple of competing airlines and a car rental place, and then there's a hangar and all this stuff. So we got an artist friend of ours to literally draw him a picture of what it looked like, and he went, "Oh, okay." So we wrote a first draft of it, and Tartikoff read it, and he went, "I like the idea, but the script, I can't let you do this script. You have to write another one." So, well, we'd made a rookie mistake, which was we had all these great characters, and what we did is we strung together a series of scenes that introduced each of the characters. Here's a scene where we see who Joe Hackett is. Here's a scene where we see who Brian Hackett is. Basically, the anchor of the series was two different brothers who ran a small airline out of the Nantucket airport. And here's a scene who shows who their competitor Roy is, the bad guy. And here's a scene that shows who Helen is, the love interest who runs the lunch counter. And here's a scene that shows who Lowell is, the doltish mechanic. And what we forgot was a story. And so we went back and analyzed the whole thing, and we decided, okay, if we write rewrite this again. We can save all the scenes for somewhere farther down the line, but what we really need is a really strong story, because what you realize is that if you have a really strong through line, you will find out who those characters are by the way they react in that story, as opposed to having to have a whole scene where you just reveal who they are. So we came up with this with fairly strong narrative, and it worked. Tartikoff went, "This is great. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Let's do it." So
you found it tough to build a show from the ground up, though.
Oh yeah, particularly never having done it before.
The biggest challenges being what?
Just coming up with the idea, coming up with the characters. Because as I said earlier, the whole key to the sitcom is not so much the place. You go around, and over the years, it's like every place I walk into goes, "You should do a sitcom about this fill in the blank where I work, because boy, the characters here and the things that go on." And the truth is they would all make great sitcom settings, because what really makes a great sitcom is interesting characters and compelling relationships, and those are hard to figure out. So it was hard to figure out what was going to be the compelling relationship at the center of Wings. Where it was Sam and Diane in Cheers, in Wings it's a relationship between two brothers that had been estranged. So we thought that was pretty strong, and then there was going to be a love interest, but we didn't want it to mirror Sam and Diane. So it's a childhood friend of both of theirs who's blossomed into a beautiful woman, and there's a competitive friction going on between the two. So you figure out that's an interesting, that's a compelling relationship. And but I can describe them in 30 seconds, but it takes 6 months to figure them out and to find them,